Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. My name is Clemens Kambeu. I live in Botswana. I am your sergeant at arms of the meeting today. We provide a supportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has a virtual hand raised so we can all see immediately who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting, is Youselee Joseph. Youselee Joseph has been a Toastmaster for more than 10 years. She is an economist and a project manager. She thinks time is the most precious gift that we have, and time is life. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Youselee Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant at Arms. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are. And once again, welcome to this meeting. It's a pleasure to be your servant as Toastmasters of this meeting today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a world where everything happens quickly with a click on our laptop. Leaders, as we are asked to be in different places at the same time. We have call from our family, call from work, call from our friend, or calls even for our well-being, for entertainment. So every day by day, we have more and more responsibilities and more challenges. And the day, the week, month, or the year remain the same. No matter our origin, no matter our health, wealth, or activities, we have no power to strengthen the time. Every day, we still have 24 hours. This time can be used as a tool, as a reference to fulfill our objectives. So mastering the art of time management is not simply just a key. It's a great skills for success. And we are experiencing here at Leadership Speaks with members from all over the world, 16 countries, who are able to put them together and have meetings and organize things together regarding our country, regarding the time zone. So when we know how to manage our time effectively, we can unlock many other benefits. We can have greater productivity and efficiency we have less stress, better professional reputation, and we increase chances of advancements. And we have also more opportunities to achieve our life and career goals. Throughout this meeting today, I will come with some tools that can help us manage our time properly. So once again, welcome and get ready to enjoy the message that we will have from all the role players. For today's meeting, the toast will be delivered by Toastmaster Miral Kanti Ghosh. Toastmaster Ghosh is working as market access manager. He has been a Toastmaster for less than 3 years and currently is serving as area director for District 124. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Ghosh for the toast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and cherished friends, today I invite you to join me the reflecting journey through ever-flowing river of time. As we raise our toast, let us first acknowledge the profound impact time has in our lives. It is the intangible force that shapes our experience, mold our memories, propel us forward. Each passing seconds is reminder as the precious gift we have. Yes, the gift of our own existence. In the dynamic dance with time, we often find ourselves taking to the roles of leaders, captains of our own ships, our own destinations. As we lead, let us do with a profound understanding of the fleeting nature of memories. As we all know, life is an executive voice. Savor each fleeting moments of our life because life will not present itself once again. We all know we can't control our future, yet we need to paint our canvas for our future to shaping our lives. In this, I know that we cannot control our future. In the presence, past is an amazing memories that we have already spent together. So, as we clink our glasses together, let be celebrations, not just only the passing of minutes, passing of hour, passing of days, but also celebrated our journey through our time. Maybe lead with purpose, live with intention, and cherish timeless bond that connected us, all of us. Here's the presence, the past, and timeless possibilities we have for the future. Cheers for the unstoppable force that guides us all the time. Cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ghosh, for this toast. And now we are moving to our other role player. To manage the time, ladies and gentlemen, there's one way, which is scheduling. In scheduling, we put some specific time apart to realize some activities. That's why at Toastmasters, we have a timer to help us to take track of the time that we are using. I call our timer of the day Toastmaster Karen Baptiste to explain her role as a timer.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Youselee. I'm Karin. I will be your timer. I will display different virtual backgrounds, green, yellow, and red. According to the agenda, I will give you the report for each part. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam Timer. I encourage all of you to please keep track on your time and respect the time allotted to all your work. Now we are moving on to the grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Youselee Rana. Toastmaster Youselee Rana, please you can take the lead to present your role as grammarian.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. The word of the today is timely. Timely means done or occurring at a favorable or useful time. An example of the use of the word is, we were saved by the timely arrival of the speaker. I encourage everyone to use the word timely in their roles today. I will also be looking out for the good use of grammar as well as areas we can improve on. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rana, for this. For the word, once again, the word of the day is timely. One other way to manage our time is prioritization. In prioritization, we define which activities are more important than the others. And this way, we can put more time for those who are more important, or we can do them before the other one. So the second tools that I bring to you today is prioritization. We have a lot of things to do every day, every year, every month. So define which one is more important for us to realize in order to manage properly our time. And for today, I will call for this meeting the leadership speaker, Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh. Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh is an amalgamation of different cultures. She wants to give back to society in the best possible way. She feels important. She feels it's important to have experience, gain knowledge, and acquire wisdom that comes through caring, sharing, learning, and evolving. She is a double distinguished Toastmaster who lead District 41 achieve the highest award, that of Schmidt Distinguished in the program year 2019-2020. She is currently a district parliamentary for District 124. Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh is our leadership speaker today, and the title of her speech is Smart Work is Hard Work. Smart work is hard work. Let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh.
Thank you so very much for that beautiful introduction. Before I start, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if any, this is my project prepared speech, and it is on prepare to speak professionally. It is for 18 to 22 minutes, a long speech. Hence, my appeal to lend me your ears. Thank you. Smart work is artwork. Dear leaders of Leadership Speak, Working hard, whiz a whiz, working smart are basically two different ways of completing a task. There is no right or wrong answers. The approach, it is said, that works for you may depend entirely upon the industry you work for, the industry and their objectives or their work preferences. But comparing hard work versus smart work can help you decide which approach is optimal to achieve your goals in a timely manner. Working hard is a perception of how we perform our tasks. The quality associated with it are punctuality, perseverance, and flexibility. Seniors and co-workers may perceive you to be hardworking if you arrive at work early and leave late as compared to others, whereas smart work is considered to be less time consuming because we use our creativity to save time and be more productive. The perspective of someone working smart may differ depending from person to person or industry to industry, or where you and I work. For instance, a computer programmer may automate programming tasks to save time, effort, and rework. What is time management? Get it right, and you'll end up working smarter, not harder. It's about working hard under pressure, even when time is tight. Well, my dear leadership leaders, you may know that time is one of the most valuable and priceless commodities in our universe. Every single one of us have the same time. As Youselee said, 24 hours per day, 365 days per year, 8,760 hours every year of our lives. We must plan to use this wisely. Correct. That's in my opinion. Hence, today is a good time to start the artwork for leaders. Talking about leadership, not talking, but taking up leadership positions are easy. Living up to them, the expectations is another ballgame. How we utilize time effectively is the question here. My dear leaders, we are constantly disturbed by notifications, emails, and social media posts, which tend to dilute our focus. In an economy where distractions and chaos has become the norm, it's nearly next to impossible to focus on what truly is urgent or needs to be prioritized so that the right work can be done at the right time. Hence, leaders, all our good intentions may fly out of the window if we are not planning smart. Research has shown that to keep up with the pace at work, nearly 80% of workers work with their inbox and other apps open. This is sourced from asana.com. This is in turn does lead to missed deadlines due to lack of focus on a single task. Ideavalue.com informs that 2.5% of people can multitask effectively. Whereas for the rest of us, our attempts to do multiple activities are not really doing two things at once, but rather we are doing individual actions in rapid succession. Or you could say task switching. Prioritizing time is an effective way of managing your goals. As it is said that a proper balance between the body and the mind is necessary to becoming productive in life. Therefore, the best way to prepare is to have a work list that can prioritize tasks into high or low importance or urgency. Leaders, do you believe time is power? Well, as you know, time is the only thing that in this universe that is limitless and can go up to infinity. Time is directly linked to our successes and failures. We cannot buy time, my friends, but we can use them wisely. So what are some of the advantages of time management? Firstly, understanding the relevance of time as a whole. Effective time management can help you reduce stress, increase your overall productivity, and boost well-being. Wow, wow, wow. Don't we all crave this? Number 3, to effectively manage time, we need to consciously plan and control the time we spend on specific tasks. And number 4, this one is very, very important. Motivating ourselves is a very, very crucial part of time management. It's not easy, but with a bit of effort, we all can master it. Okay, another question comes up in my mind. Why do we need to improve productivity? Good question, right? We need to improve productivity to develop good routines or habits. We must know what are the tools we can use to help us strategize. This not only applies to your professional life, dear leaders, it also applies to your personal life too. Are you one who actually gets distracted easily? Me, I am one. You know, there are apps like Forest. Forest is an app that can help you stay focused on the important things in life. Whenever you want to stay focused, plant a tree. Your tree will grow while you focus on your work. But leaving your app halfway will cause your tree to die. Similarly, there are other apps like Pomodoro. It is a customized Pomodoro timer that works on desktop and mobile browsers. The aim of this app is to help you to focus on any task that you are working on. Habitica, like its name, it is a free habit and productivity app that treats your life like a game. Wow, who doesn't like gaming, guys? All of us love it. Yeah. Habitica can help you achieve your goals to become healthy, happy, so that you can effectively manage your time. Right? There is still one more thing you can do if you are into distractions. You may have already heard of this, the Zen mode. Yeah? If so, it is advised switching to Zen mode. Zen mode features are perfect for those who tend to get distracted by their phones or simply want to have a moment of peace. It enables you to set a specific amount of time, say, okay, 30 minutes, during which your smartphone will go into a state similar to do not disturb. How good is that? 4 tips on how to actually stay focused. Now, there's another one, which is a book by David Allen, Getting Things Done. It is a useful read indeed. He states, there is an inverse relationship between things on our mind and those things getting done. You read it. Want to hear a story? I'm sure you will love this one. Once upon a time, a long time ago in 2019 and 20, I was elected as the district director to lead District 41. My team, Ramesh Joseph and Ranjit Acharya, Program Quality Director and Club Growth Director, respectfully, were a blessing in disguise. At the onset of our term, we had set our minds on achieving the Smedley Distinguished Award, which, by the way, was taken for granted in District 41. Year after year after year, every team achieved the Smedley Distinguished Award and had risen up that bar so high that I was truly nervous. Nevertheless, we were positive that we could do it. Tech Master, can you look into that, please? Thank you. During the term, we were drowned by many challenges on a day-to-day basis that had to be resolved. Area directors resigning. Can you beat that? What happened here? Oh, I got a promotion. I'm going abroad, etc. Hence, we had to let them go. After all, this is a not-for-profit organization. No one was on a payroll. Conflicts, dear Toastmasters. Conflicts between them, their egos, leaders and members. They had so much of conflict that we had to set up a conflict management team to cater and resolve their problems. Precious time was spent on these activities. Toastmasters took up responsibilities, took up positions, but they aren't putting in any effort. They are busy with office work. Oh, I have a marriage in my family. It's going to be a long drawn affair. I'm going on a long vacation. Really? Why did you take on this role? Was a question never answered. Well, that's when I saw how quickly time flies. Before we knew it, 6 months had passed in a jiffy. One morning, I was scrolling some beautiful quotes because I love to motivate myself. And I came across this beautiful quote which says, by the late Charles Darwin, "A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life." Beautiful, right? It struck a chord with me. And that's when I sat down to prioritize goals according to the time I had left, which was approximately 182 days of the new program. With this thought in mind and my targets and goals clearly written on my to-do lists, I started to box them in using Stephen Covey's time management metrics. In quadrant 1, important and urgent, I put down everything that was immediately needed to be done and which had a deadline tagged to it. In quadrant 2, which was important and not urgent, I kept all my long-term planning and strategizing goals there. In quadrant 3, the not important but urgent were those items which were urgent, but it is for time-pressed distractions. They're not really important, but since they're urgent, some part has to be kept to deal with them. And number 4, not important, not urgent. For those activities that have less or no value at all. These activities just take away time from important and urgent activities. Well, coming back to my story, with tiny baby steps, we climbed the steep path of success. But wait, guys. Here comes another roadblock. Oh my God, another challenge ahead. On March 2020, our Indian government declared a total lockdown due to COVID-19. And the entire world shut down around us. We were totally lost, confused, perplexed, and extremely worried. Would we be able to achieve our dreams of Smedley? From face-to-face sessions, we had to quickly jump into online sessions. It was a rush, believe me, from arranging specific trainings for Toastmasters who were not at all savvy with the online platform. We had to literally handhold them to become equipped, comfortable with these platforms, especially our senior members. We did not want to lose them. It wasn't their fault, was it? So we arranged and planned specific training sessions with the help of tech experts in our district to overcome these challenges. I do believe our boxed-in techniques helped us utilize time wisely. We finally achieved our goal of Smedley Distinguished District on the 13th of July, 2020, when the dashboard refreshed. It was a day after my birthday, and for me, that was my biggest. Ladies and gentlemen, my leaders of Leadership Speak, the pandemic has proved that the world has changed. We have moved into the hybrid mode of living, before I conclude, I would like to quote the late Miles Davis, American jazz musician, a great trumpeter, a band leader, and composer. Time isn't the main thing, he said. It is the only thing. I agree, because for me, smart work is art. What do you say, Madam Toastmaster? And before I leave, I hand back to the Toastmaster of the evening. I encourage you to watch a video on time management, which I will share on the chat box with you to watch. A link I will share on the chat box for you to watch. Thank you so much for patiently hearing my story on time. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening, or of the day.
Thank you for this message, Toastmaster Ghosh. I have a lot of takeaway from your presentation. Thank you, and I hope the audience already took note during your presentation. Now we are moving on from our first thank you, Vinod. Especially what I took from this presentation is getting things started and concentration and focus on what we have to do. Now, times for our next presentation, Toastmaster Deborah Walker. Before I call the speaker, I will call her evaluator to present the objective of the presentation. I call the evaluator, Toastmaster Tony Bratschitsch, to present the speech objective.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Deborah's project is based on motivational strategies and identifying communication styles. The purpose of her presentation is for Deborah to learn the various communication styles and to identify her primary communication style, what works best for her. Instead of the evaluation form, Deborah has asked me to answer 4 specific questions, and I will do so during my evaluation. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bratschitsch. Toastmaster Deborah is working actually on the path motivational strategies, and she will present a speech into an interviewed format to explain her communication styles. For her, communication leads to understanding, and understanding one's communication style can lead to increased understanding to oneself. And the title of her speech is Deb's Communication Takeaways. Deb's Communication Takeaways. And please, Mr. Zoommaster, don't forget to spotlight Toastmaster Deborah and also the other speaker that she will have to present with. Thank you. Toastmaster Deborah, the lead is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good day, Rosie.
Good day, Deborah. It's a pleasure to have you here with me. And I'd like to begin by thanking you for sharing your assessment with me, the communication assessment that you took. And having looked at it, I would like to ask you, you say that your dominant style is the supportive leadership communication style. Tell me what it is about this style. Maybe share a couple of characteristics of this style that you can resonate with.
There are 2 primary characteristics in the supportive style that is true of me. And the first of that is dependability. I am very much a person that my word is my bond. If I say that I'm going to do something, you can count on me to do it. If there is, for some reason, a delay, you would expect to hear from me about that. And one of the things that I have learned is that if you don't keep your word, people will know, and that affects your trust level in them. And the best way to have a positive impact on people is to underpromise and overdeliver. So my word is my bond. You can count on me to do what I'm saying I'm going to do. The second aspect is needing time to make decisions. And this comes from just, learning some of the lessons in life that when it comes to making a decision or something comes your way, there's value in not always reacting or responding right away, but taking time to think. Now, I recall last year when Brahm sent out the standout assessment exercise that he wanted all of us to complete, there was a fairly short time frame around that, and I asked him for an extension, which was granted. And I was so glad that I had more time to work through that particular exercise because there was a lot of meat to it. There was a lot of self-discovery in it. And by taking the time and working through it more thoroughly, it gave me a chance to really work on it in a meaningful way. So those are the two pieces of the style that are really true of me: dependability, keeping your word, and taking time to make decisions.
Thank you. And that does speak to how dependable I have seen you to be throughout my interactions with you. And thank you for that. So something else, while your dominant style is supportive, you mentioned having equal scores in direct and analytical.
Mm-hmm.
In what situations do you find yourself naturally leaning towards the analytical or the direct instead of this dominant supportive style? Mm-hmm.
When I'm working at my day job, Monday to Friday, I definitely show up as the analytical style. Those that I work with and who know me best would definitely describe me as being precise, exact, logical, attention to detail. All of that applies to my job. Now, for those who don't know what my day job is, it's providing senior administrative support to my VP and his directors. So all of those skills, the attention to detail, the being organized, the being precise, managing people's calendars, all of those skills come to play in my job. And everyone that I work with and those who know me well would definitely describe me that way when I'm at work.
That I would like to see that side of you, although I think I have seen it in your evaluations too. What about the direct? I believe you said you had equal scores with direct as well? Mm-hmm.
The direct was actually a little bit lower, and I don't tend to be as much in the direct style as the analytical. I lean far more towards the analytical, and that tends to come out in interactions with people, like I said, especially at work. But sometimes if I'm on a committee as well, those same things will come out with keeping things on time, acting in a timely manner, being precise, thinking things through logically. Those also come to play when I'm working on a project.
Brilliant. Thank you. Now, what I found very interesting, and you said that you have taken this assessment twice, is that you scored a 0 both times in the initiating communication style. How do you perceive this style and how do you feel about the 0 score?
That one is very, very interesting. Based on some of the definitions in the project, the initiating style describes someone who is social, enthusiastic, energetic, spontaneous, and fun-loving. Someone who is basically the life of the party. I will be completely open and transparent when I say that those who know me well here would not describe me as being any of those things at all. My preference when it comes to interacting with people is on a one-on-one level. So for example, if I'm at work and there's a group of people who want to get together and go for lunch or do something after work, I will do that occasionally, once in a while. but it's not my norm. It's not where I feel most naturally comfortable. I would rather extend a lunch invitation to a colleague of mine and say, why don't we go for lunch and sit down at the table and have that one-on-one interaction with one another. Now, it's interesting because a few years ago, I was applying for another job at my company that some other people were also applying for. And I was the second choice candidate. And the only reason that I didn't get the job was that the person who did get it in the interview spoke about wanting to do team building events with their colleagues and getting everybody together outside of work to go bowling or go for dinner or whatever. Because I value the one-on-one interaction with people, and I don't think so much about getting a large group together, it never even dawned on me to mention that in the interview, nor was it a requirement for the position. But I actually lost out on a job because I didn't speak to doing team building events. But again, my natural tendency is interacting on a one-on-one level to have that deeper, more meaningful conversation so that I can get to know people better.
Thank you very much for that. It's interesting that you lost the opportunity to get a job, but you sound extremely happy in that space. So I commend you and congratulate you for your high level of self-awareness in who you are and being happy with who you are. Thank you so much, Deborah. It has been a real pleasure working with you and getting to understand and know you deeper. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosie. I really appreciate you partnering with me on this project. And back to Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deborah and Toastmaster Rosie Rana for this interview. Now we are moving on to our next speaker, Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt. Before I call the speaker, I will call her evaluator, Toastmaster Nina Jones.
Good evening, and welcome to everyone. My speaker, Hannah Schmidt, is doing her visionary communication part, the icebreaker, an introduction to the club and a basic structure of speaking. The time is 4 to 6 minutes. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jones. Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt is working now on the path visionary communication. And Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt's leadership process has escalated. Since March 2020, when Toastmasters started holding online meetings, she had to learn fast on how to adapt in order to develop and redefine her online leadership skills. As each club has its own culture, she realized that leadership and communication is of the utmost importance. This morning, Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt will present us a speech titled, My Children. My Children, Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt.
Hannah, you're on mute.
Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. Hannah's version is, I have a vision, and I shall put this vision into reality. Madam Toastmaster, I have raised 5 children. Not all of them have a university degree, but they have, through external and night school classes, achieved their potential, and I am very proud of that. 3 of them have decided to find greener pastures. One has immigrated to the States, the other one to the UK, and the third one to New Zealand. And it is still my dream to gather all 5 of them under one roof. The last time this happened was in 2020. That was 24 years ago. Long time. But to put this vision into reality, I needed to relocate first, especially also to declutter. My concern was who was going to look after my garden, water my pot plants, feed my dog, feed my cat when I'm away for 3 months in a row. Searching high and low, I found a new home in a complex in town where I could just lock up and go. Definitely the ideal place and a great solution. Can you imagine how long this process of relocating takes for me? I find photos, I find a camera full of photos, old school reports of mine, and many other items I thought had gone missing. Instead of systematically continuing with my clearing up, I sat down, reminisced over them for the years gone by. Obviously, time is on my side. I have been visiting my children on a regular basis, yet this did not fulfill my dream to have all 5 of them under one roof. In 2019, I stopped visiting my overseas family. I had the fullest intention of inviting them to my birthday on the 2021. Guess who came to visit us? Mr. COVID. Sadly, I had to stop my visit for this specific reunion, as we were all forced to stay at home. We were compelled to stay at home. No more visits, no traveling. Instead of twiddling my thumbs, my laptop opened another exhilarating world for me. That of visiting my family online via Zoom. With a click of a mouse button, we meet once a month and have a virtual family reunion. Although very interesting, you get to know each other, but it's not that family reunion. Although I have learned a lot, something new in applying my knowledge to my new circumstances. These online meetings did not satisfy my vision and motivated me again to start planning for a physical reunion. And voila! If all goes well, it will happen in September 2024, just this year. Plans are rolling and the excitement is mounting. We communicate as often as we can to let my dreams, my vision, become a reality. Toastmasters have a vision, take action, never stop communicating, and the rest will fall into place. Where there is a will, there is a way. He who gives up planning will never ever have his dream, his vision come true. Dalai Lama said, in order to carry positive action, we must develop a positive vision. If possible, timely. And that is what I am going to do. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Schmidt. Thank you, Toastmaster Schmidt. Now we are moving on to the next speaker, Toastmaster Aswathy Rajan. And our evaluator today is Toastmaster Angela Brown. Toastmaster Brown, you can take the lead to present the speech objectives.
Thank you, everyone. Aswathy's speech is from Ethical Leadership. The purpose of this speech is The purpose of this project is for the members to develop a clear understanding of his or her ethical framework and create an opportunity for others to hear about and discuss ethics in the members' organization or community. The length of this speech is 20 to 40 minutes. It's a panel discussion.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brahm. Toastmaster Aswathy is working right now on the path strategic relationship. And for her, being a leader is important to know the difference between ethic and morals. Sometimes it becomes challenging for leaders to stand with ethics and still be empathic and kind. This panel discussion is to unfold the dimension of ethical leadership. Toastmaster Aswathy Rajan is an introductional coach and education mentor. As a member of Leadership Speak on her journey to become a self-directed leader, she is exploring different types of leadership styles to inspire more people and help them to become better versions of themselves. The title of her speech project is Ethical Leadership. Ethical Leadership, Toastmaster Aswathy Rajan.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my dear Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to this panel discussion on ethical leadership. We are honored to have 4 distinguished panelists with us today who will share their insights and experiences on this important topic, ethical leadership. Ethical leadership is the practice of leading with integrity, honesty, respect, and social responsibility. It is not only about doing the right thing, but also inspiring others to do the same. Ethical leaders face many challenges and dilemmas in today's complex and dynamic world, and they need to balance the interests and expectations of various stakeholders. How do they do that? What are the skills and qualities that they need? How do they cope up with the pressures and temptations that they may encounter? These are some of the questions that we will explore in this panel discussion. So please join me in welcoming our panelists and let us begin this engaging and enlightening conversation. Dear Zoom Master, as I introduce the panel members, please spotlight them. So our first panelist is a Toastmaster since 17 years. He's a distinguished Toastmaster, a charter member of Leadership Speak, and the parliamentarian of our club. He's a business consultant and an executive with the Royal Canadian Legion. He's a past District 86 governor and past district parliamentarian of District 123. Ladies and gentlemen, he is none other than distinguished Toastmaster Tony Bratschitsch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Now, our second panelist. He joined Toastmasters in late 2019 and is a charter member of our Leadership Speak. He served as an area director for 2 years in District 123. And in addition to Leadership Speak, he's a member of 2 other advanced leadership clubs. He's also founder and CEO of Brilliant Minds Group, a not-for-profit organization, and president of SOS Talent Management, an HR consulting firm. He loves community building, and that's his passion. Please welcome Toastmaster Dinesh Sharma. Welcome,
Thank
Toastmaster.
you. Thank you for having me.
Our next panel member is a dynamic leader, the past district director of District 82. She is the past district chief judge, mentor pool chair, parliamentarian, and current finance manager of District 120. She's a charter member of the first club in Tamil Nadu, which is now currently District 120. She's also an author and a professional speaker. Distinguished Toastmaster Nina Jor.
Thank you so much for having me on this panel. Privileged to be here.
Now, last but not the least, our next panelist has worked as a social worker in different social service agencies for 3 decades. She values continuous learning, and she has been a member of Toastmasters for many years and joined Leadership Speak in 2023 to elevate her communication and leadership skills. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Claudette Thomas.
Thank you so much to be a part of this esteemed panel.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, our panel is full of dynamism, all dynamic leaders from different spheres of life, different professions, and different walks of life. So, to start with, I have a common question for all of you, and you'll be getting 1 to 2 minutes each to answer this. And the question is, what is ethical leadership for you? And why do you think it is essential to be an ethical leader? So let me start with Tony.
Thank you. My opinion, right? Ethical leadership is not enough. To be an effective leader, you must have ethics balanced with morality. You got to do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons for the right people. And sometimes you have to make a bad decision to get the proper consequence. So you could make a decision based on a daily routine or a decision based on the end result. As captain of my hockey team, I sometimes made wrong decisions at the time, but at the end, it was for the right result. So therefore, sometimes I felt 2 wrongs can make a right. So it depends on what is an effective leader, which is a balance of measuring ethics and morality. And they're different because ethics is a set of rules. But whose rules? Your rules? My rules? The rules of your country, your church, your school, your family? It's definition. But then there's morality, which is coming from the soul and the mind. So an effective leader must be able to balance those 2 items to make the right decisions at the right time for the right reasons for the right people. Thank you.
Wow. What a great start to the discussion, Tony. Thank you so much. So Tony says ethics are not enough. Balance of ethics and morals is what we have to follow. So let's hear from our next panel member, Dinesh. Dinesh, what do you think about ethical leadership?
Thank you, Dr. Aswathy, for inviting me. For me personally, ethics in life are very, very important. What does ethics tells us? Ethics tells us that it is the right thing to do. As Tony said, that sometime doing the right thing may not be liked by the other individuals or organizations, but it is the right thing to do given the circumstances, so keeping the high level picture, high level vision of the work that you are doing it is important. I'm a storyteller. I tell stories. And one of the stories that I will tell you, so as you said, we run this not-for-profit organization. When we started this organization, I had a business partner that started with us. our ethics said we are doing this as a not-for-profit organization. He said, yes, we are providing a service, but we should be charging that for service. Our visions didn't align. Okay, we said the vision is to serve the community. Where is the pricing coming in? Where is the profit model coming in? It's a not-for-profit organization. So we decided to part ways, but we still continue to remain friends because friendship and business are two separate things. So the right thing was serving the community. Big picture, again, coming back, he realized that, yes, what we started was a not-for-profit organization and we should continue. So ethics says doing the right thing sometime which may not be liked by the other individuals or other organizations. Back to you, Dr. Aswathy.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dinesh, for sharing your personal experience. As you said, ethics is doing the right thing, and sometimes it may not be liked by others. Wow. So with that thought, now let's move on to our next panel member, Distinguished Toastmaster Neena ma'am. So Distinguished Toastmaster Neena, according to you, what is ethical leadership?
Thank you so much, Dr. Aswathy, for inviting me to this eminent panel. And I think ethics are what we practice every day, all the time. As Toastmasters, when we say integrity, at the club level, are you voting for your friend or are you voting for the best speaker on that day? Sometimes it can be as small as that. As the president, are you pushing people just for that DCP, rating? Or do you want your club to be, bragging rights? How are you doing it? How are you encouraging your club members? Why is it important? Because the leader sets the example. Whatever the leader does will be followed by the club, by the district. When we were a fledgling district, there was this mad race to be #1 in the world because District 82 had been #1 for a very long time. And I remember a very eminent Toastmaster from another place, from another district, advising me that one thing you can do is pack the last few months with double memberships. People take up memberships in different clubs. You're padding your figures just for the #1 position. Beginning of the next year, all of them disappear. And I said, no, #1 does not matter if you are running an unethical organization. And I think that's how it works. Once you do that, once you set your example and put your foot down, for the sake of the organization, maintain your integrity, your team, your organization, your district will follow that example. Otherwise, you can't call yourself a Toastmaster leader who is practicing integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Back to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, DTM Neena, for sharing through a different perspective, through a Toastmasters perspective. Yes, as you said, ethics are something that we follow every day. Even the smallest deed can be done with ethics. Thanks for sharing that. So now let us hear from our next panel member, Claudette Thomas. Claudette.
Thank you, Dr. Aswathy, and our esteemed panel. As a social worker by training, one of the first courses I remember doing is the Code of Ethics. When I think of the standards, the ethics we spoke about then, it was exactly what I learned now in Toastmasters International. What are our core values? And many of you have already mentioned that, which is honesty, integrity, service, respect, excellence, of course. And this is how I tend to lead as a leader. And as a leader, it's not just an organization or group. I lead with my family and friends. So when I do that, I want to lead by example, demonstrating these core values: honesty, respect, integrity. and sometimes accountability and transparency. This is how I want to lead. And by doing that, hopefully, I can inspire whoever follows me or whoever I come in contact with, to inspire them, to build trust, to be credible, to walk the walk and talk the walk, so they can be the same, not walking one way and talking the other way. So for me, ethical leadership is leading and making some decisions based on the values, the core values that I hold: honesty, respect, integrity, transparency, accountability, empathy, compassion, kindness, and so much more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Claudette, for sharing your version. So as you said, if you are a leader, you need to lead by example. And it is important that you take decisions based on the core values. And it's up to you that what core values you are deciding for your organization or for yourself. So great thought, Claudette. So now we saw the different perspectives about ethical leadership. And I'm sure you all would have noticed that all the panelist members, they said that sometimes it is very difficult to practice ethics. As our first panelist, he said that sometimes it is very challenging. So I would like to ask this question from Tony, that how do you define and communicate your ethical values and principles to your team members, your followers and peers, and sometimes maybe your superiors?
3 steps. In the line of leadership, as Nina John explained, being a leader, to get our message across of ethics, morality, equity, we as leaders must follow 3 steps in any order. We have to project confidence. Well, we're Toastmasters, right? That's what we're learning. We have to communicate clearly, so our words are clearly understood. There's no question of definition. And then we must convince people we are authentic, that we are who we say we are, so they can believe in us. Now, those 3 steps, if done properly, in our own way, represents what is called executive presence, which is leadership. And, you know, it cannot always be defined that way. But fellow Toastmasters, you know it when you see it, or hear it, or feel it. So we have to walk the talk. We have to know who we are, just like what Socrates said, know thyself. So project confidence, communicate clearly, and be who you say you are. Be authentic. Back to you.
Wow, that confidence, communicate, and be authentic, the 3-word mantra, it is really powerful, because if you are confident enough and you believe in your ethics, you believe in your values, I'm sure you can communicate well with your team members, and of course they'll be convinced also. And that's a great way to communicate with your team members, so that they believe in your ethics too. So thank you so much, DTM Tony, for sharing that. Now, you also mentioned about being authentic and walk the talk. So our next question is something related to that, that when we say walk the talk and do what you say, my next question is for Toastmaster Dinesh. Dinesh, how can you model higher ethics every day? How can you follow this walk the talk when it comes to ethics?
That's a pretty good question. I'm going to use back same analogy that I used it earlier for the not-for-profit organization that we are running here for supporting the newcomer community and international student community of Canada. People asked me that, why are you doing this? Why are you starting this not-for-profit organization when you can convert this into a full-time business and make money? My simple answer was when I came to Canada as a newcomer, there was no organized system of providing me the knowledge and the guidance on how to integrate myself into Canadian society. Canada is a great country. However, you still need a little bit of a guidance. So I wasn't provided with that system. So now I need to make sure that we build a platform where the challenges that we went through, other people do not go through those challenges. When we started projecting that, yes, there were challenges. Don't get me wrong. I get those every day. Okay. There was a gentleman who recently met me, and he used a word that I can't even describe. This is all flimsy that you're doing it. You must be making money out of it too. People say that. But my ethic says if I am true to myself of what I'm doing it, I don't care what people say. That's their perception of what they do. If I am true to what I am doing it, of a service to the humanity, service to the community, and that's how we've been able to bring not only people here in Canada, but people in India are joining us because they know that there is a need that we need to serve the community. Back to you, Dr. Aswathy.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dinesh, for once again sharing your story to explain how you model high ethics every day. One thing which I loved in your answer is believe in your ethics, believe in yourself. So once you believe in the ethics and the values, I think you just follow it blindly. You make others also believe in those ethics, and that's how the system will work and flourish. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Dinesh, once again. Now, we saw that every time, whenever we try to follow these ethics, there are some dilemmas, some challenges. And I'm sure in Toastmasters world, where leadership is a very important part here, many leaders, they face ethical dilemmas. And we have distinguished Toastmaster Nina John, who have been in various leadership positions in Toastmasters. So let me ask you, ma'am, can you share any specific ethical dilemma in Toastmasters world which you have come across, or maybe you have faced, or you have seen, which you would like to share with us?
Yes, I think I already referred to one where a former district, that was a district governor for former #1 in the world, who told us how to build up our own membership and do that, and we refused. There was another similar thing where we had a complicated situation, in the sense there was a corporate Toastmaster, and some of their people were on site in another location, and they started a Toastmaster club there. Now, I discovered that when they were having the on-site Toastmasters, and I said, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. You have to be a paid member of a club, and only then can you participate in the contest. And I had to actually disqualify the entire contest, saying that no, it is not valid under Toastmaster rules. And this happened a couple of years later, when one Toastmaster, when she participated at the area level, she was in one corporate, and then she switched her job. And I said, no, you have to be from the same club that you started with when you're going up the ladder. You cannot switch clubs and represent the other club at a higher level. So these kind of things, some of them are due to lack of knowledge, and some of them are people just trying to cut a corner and see if they can do things a little bit smarter rather than the right way. So to each their own, but it is tough. And I think that's one of the dilemmas of leadership. Do you want to be popular, or do you want to be right? And a lot of people fall by the wayside because they want to be nice. They want everyone to like them, and they want to do things that way. But that's what integrity is. And as Tony said, to thine own self be true, and thou cannot be false to any other person, as Shakespeare said. So once you're sure, and as Dinesh also said, stick to your own values, know that what you're doing. When you are steadfast and firm, people will accept that, and they will follow what you have to say. Back to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, DTM Nina, for sharing that. As you said, doing things the right way is important than doing things in a smarter way. So right way is the smart way. That's what is the message from you. So now we have Claudette, and Claudette is a social worker, and I'm sure, Claudette, you have to deal with different kind of people. You would have seen unethical practices also. So what are some of the challenges of being an ethical leader in today's world?
Thank you for this question. Yes, whether in social work, in a group, in your work environment, there are challenges that you have to deal with. And it's not all easy. And we all know, look at this global community here. We come from different cultures, different backgrounds, and this will influence or impact how we interact with each other. But what I think is that, yes, it can be learned. And as I said before, you set a tone, you set an example for others to follow. And if, for example, in the workplace, there's issue with time, we're talking about time management as an example. So that could be an example that you may have to deal with an individual. And it's how you deal with it. You deal with it privately. You deal with it with empathy. You make the person aware of what you're doing or not doing. Because you want to have a positive culture, positive environment, whereby there's satisfaction, there's engagement, and there's commitment to what the work is. Or even with the families that I've dealt with. And as I said before, I worked with different aspects of social work. Even with some families that I've dealt with, how you communicate with them, how you interact with them. And sometimes you have to think of impact and intent. My intent could be, one way, but the impact is different. So I think sometimes it's just reflecting on probably your own behavior, your own interaction, and having the person, whether it's a staff or a family member you're working with, reflect on what you're doing. So what I think is how you inspire people, how you build trust, and how you really are credible with what you do and what you say. And as we have all said before, is leading by example. And this is one of the values that I hold, lead by example. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Claudette, for that message. Lead by example, be a role model and set an example for others so that you can build trust, so that people get inspired by you. And of course, that's not something very difficult. It can be learned, and you can be an inspiration for others. So thank you so much for sharing all those insights. Now, let me open this forum to the audience. So if you people have any question, anything which you would like to ask from our panelists, you are most welcome. You can raise your hands and you will be getting the opportunity to ask questions. The timer, we have 10 minutes for this discussion.
I see Brahm hand is up.
Yeah, I can see DTM Brahm's hand up. Yes, yes, sir. You can ask your question and to whom you would like to ask.
So, Tony, there is a good, you hit the ball out of the park when you began with ethics and morality. Now, but isn't the context as well necessary in what context we are operating? For example, a company, well, most companies, most organizations are working to make profits. And so we are seeing a lot of degradation of the planet. So now are they being ethical or moral, or what is it? Why is the degradation happening? What sort of leadership do we have currently?
Okay. You know, there's a lot of answers to that question.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a current of corporate leadership that is presenting something known as shared values. And it started in the 60s, and it's working its way through where they are making profit in such a way where the community benefits. You know, it's a long story. So every corporate board must ask the question that William Shakespeare posed in Hamlet. Here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready for this, Brahm?
Yes.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Brahm, there was no answer in Hamlet to that. Have you ever thought of that? There was no answer. And you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the answer sits with each one of us. You, me, and every one of us on this call, and every one of us that goes through the ethical dilemmas that we have discussed. And that was the purpose of that question, to be or not to be. That is the question. So every corporate board must decide upon that. And that's what's going on in the corporate world right now. There are some that are addressing the issues and some that are not. And as consumers, we have tremendous power being connected to the worldwide internet. With online communities, we can make decisions that will support corporations that believe in shared values. So we have a role, a powerful role, in how we shape corporate decisions. And then maybe someday we can answer that William Shakespeare's question. Back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, DDM Brahm, for asking that question. I hope you got the answer too. So now, thank you, Tony, for answering his question. Now we have Angela Brown. I think she has a question. Angela, Zoom Master, can you spotlight her? Yes, Angela, you can ask your question.
Do you think that Toastmasters International does enough to make sure that its leaders, its presidents and members are following the right guidelines? Claudette.
Thank you, Angela, for choosing me. Seeing that I'm not involved on the international level, my knowledge of what Toastmasters try to do is, first of all, as I mentioned, they're the core values that is set out for us to follow. And again, individuals are individuals. Things would go differently. But I believe it's how it's responded to. Because my understanding is that Toastmasters has probably a standard as to how they deal with things. So you deal with it on the individual level first. And on the individual level, there must be that respect for each other. If you have to deal with an issue, you have to be transparent. But transparent to the fact that you don't broadcast everything. What you would tend to do is to have the people who are involved in the issue deal with it. So that will be the first step. Then if it's not resolved at this level, then there should be a process in place. Sometimes there are processes that are not always followed, but there's a process in place that you probably go to the division, the area, division, district. And then if that's not followed, if you feel for some reason you're not getting anywhere with the responses, obviously I know Toastmasters International as that board, they have a body that deals with complex issues. And I've heard of some issues that have gone up to TI's office. So Toastmasters International, I believe, is a reputable organization, been around for 100 years. They may not always get it right every time, because we as individuals don't get things right every time. But I think it's the effort that we put towards setting an example of getting it right. Because going back to the core values, respect, integrity, service, and of course, excellence. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, Angela, for a very important question.
Thank you so much, Angela, for the question, and thank you, Claudette, once again for this your answer. And I'm sorry, I can see 2 more hands raised, but because of the time crunch, we have to close this panel discussion here. But I suggest you can put your questions in the chat box, and I'm sure our panelists will love to answer those. So thank you all for joining us today for this insightful discussion on ethical leadership. And we hope all of you learned something new and gained some valuable perspectives from our expert panelists. We learned that being ethical can be challenging, but it's powerful. And you need to believe in yourself, be authentic, and lead by example so that you can inspire others to be ethical. So please give them a big round of applause for their time and expertise. Have a wonderful evening and stay safe, dear Toastmasters and guests. Thank you. And back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aswathy and all the panelists. All those words are timely said today as we are still in January. So we heard them early to continue during the year. Thank you for this panel. Now we are moving to our next speaker, Toastmaster Noorul. Before I call her, I will call her evaluator, Toastmaster Muhammad Azimuddin.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Today, the speaker is going to speak from the Motivational Strategies, Project 4 from Level 1. And this is all about the evaluation and feedback. The purpose of the project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator. And the purpose of today's speech is to present a speech and receive feedback. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Azimuddin. Toastmaster Noorul is working on the path motivational strategies. And as a past district director, for her, timely decision is vital for economy of nations. So as any other organizations, as such, it is important for leaders to adhere for timely planning, timely taking decision, and execution of tasks on time. The title of her speech is Work Study versus Efficiency. Work study versus efficiency. Toastmaster Noorul.
Time is vital, as most of us spoke today. Because when it comes to our tasks, projects, or whatever it is, need to be timed and the tasks to be finished on time. Especially when it comes to the projects which involves the nation fund, as task masters, we need to focus on completing the task on time. Back in two decades ago, I was working as the electrical engineer, working under chief engineer. Of course, I was on the third hierarchy. And I was working as planning engineer to design and plan and design the electricity network to electrify the villages in Sri Lanka. At that time, the electrification level of Sri Lanka was somewhere around 40 to 50%. So we had to complete 100% electrification within about 8 to 10 years' time. And during that time, I was working under chief engineer. I had my colleague who was looking after to accept the proposals to implement the jobs. As he had fallen sick, I had to look after his task as well, along with 2/3 of my supervisor's tasks. You can imagine the workload came onto my head. But when the workload was heavy, it is automatically we will fall into line to analyzing and meeting the targets. So when it comes to the investigation, every day we were receiving public people in hundreds. Hardly we had any time to speak to them and solve the problems. Then I started to collect the history data and started the analysis. What is going on?
Sorry, Noorul, we are not able to see your screen.
What was going on? So when I analyzed the history, the outcome of the history analysis was that for about 3 or 4 years, and I found 30% of total requests received by visiting each and every request has been processed. Imagine out of 100%, 30%. Time delay of each pending request had gone beyond 9 months to 1.5 years. And we have received only 5 to 10% of total process requests by visiting and investigating the schemes. And when I analyze the vehicle running, the average monthly running was 36,000 kilometers per month. Can you imagine the inefficiency of the work which was done by my branch? I didn't have time to focus as I was handling 3 people job. I started to analyze. Then I revisited the procedure and established a new procedure. And by redesigning this procedure, I informed stakeholders, my subordinates and my supervisors, saying that we should forget about the existing procedure and we should follow up the re-established procedure. So what was the re-established? Normally, our field officers visit the site and do the investigation, bring the sketch and do the estimate, cost estimate. And I have redesigned the form in such a way that customers should bring their sketch, and it is our responsibility to give the estimate on the spot. So after a month, or for 3 months after re-establishing the procedure, I started to analyze again. And I found 100% total requests received were issued without visiting the field. Time delay of pending request, the maximum 2 days. The funds received from the government agencies, 80%. And mileage was down from 36,000 kilometers per month to 12,000 kilometers per month. My dear friends, that shows by analyzing historical data, how we saved the time, how we met the target, and how efficiently we were able to run the vehicles. Moreover, we had a huge impact on nation's economy because I was working in the government utilities sector. And of course, we had a huge challenge during the process. Huge delay in the process because when the older procedure, politicians bring the members, customers, and they wanted to score marks to get the votes. But by implementing the new procedure, they couldn't do it, mainly because we were issuing the estimate spot on. Then we were challenged by parliament members at the parliament. But I briefed my supervisor, this is the procedure, this is how we did. I was not taken to the parliament, but my boss had to go and answer the question of politicians. But he was able to convince by telling the efficiency of the redesigned procedure. And it was a great successful. What it shows, when it comes to the projects, maybe the office environment, or maybe if you are working in a society, maybe the projects that we are doing for any NGO or any other forum, it is a must that we should understand the current procedure and process. Data is vital. And with the data, we can analyze where we are standing, where we should focus. Then we can plan the strategy and redesign the process. And it is a must that we should inform the stakeholders. And by implementing the redesigned process, we can monitor the progress, and it is our responsibility to inform the stakeholders the progress of the new procedure, and it is our responsibility to motivate the stakeholders to do it with passion. Then we don't have to ask questions, but just motivating them and monitoring the progress in a close way, you can really achieve the target. And you can achieve the target. The same thing came to me in so it is important that data analysis, planning the strategy, implement the process, and motivate the stakeholders. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Noorul, for your speech. Now we are moving on to our last speaker, Toastmaster Brahm Memone. Before I call him, I call first his evaluator to present the speech objective, Mamadou Gibre.
Mamadou, you are muted.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Yeah, Brahm is working on his path, motivational strategies, and he will present either a new speech or the same speech that incorporates some of the feedback he received from the presentation of the first speech. And Bram's speech title is What's Your Super Strength? And he will be speaking for 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mamadou. Toastmaster Brahm Memone is working on motivational strategies path. As a coach, trainer, and mentor, he found that Toastmasters in an advanced club need better understanding of leadership. So this presentation is for the club members to understand their strengths and areas of improvement to become much better leaders and professional speakers. The speech is entitled, "What's Your Super Strength?" Toastmaster Brahm Memone, what's your super strength? The lead is yours.
We need great clarity and focus to get things done timely. We need to understand our strengths. What is your super strength, ladies and gentlemen? And most of you club members, well, all the club members have got a Google form and your strength, standout strength link to find out what your super strengths are. And that would enable you, once you've done that and created a profile, to get to know what you really want to achieve in 2024 and how that would help you. That's what it's been designed to. It's timely. We're just starting 2024. All of our resolutions have died down. Within 3 weeks, all of our resolutions go to rest. Now here we are faced with, what do you really want to do in 2024? So what's your super strength? Here's my super strength. This is what I did. I've asked you, and I've done the same from our pathways level 2. We know our leadership qualities, style, and our communication style, which we heard from Deborah, her style. And then, of course, the standout strengths. And when you put all these profiles together, you begin to really understand where I am at, where I need to go, what do I need to improve, what are my real strengths, what can I hone in on so that I can do what I really need to do. Now, here's my leadership style. Sandra, you wanted to know a little bit more about my leadership style and my standout strengths and so on. Well, here it is. Are you there, Sandra? Rosie, this is quite timely as well. Now, and my leadership style, authoritative, innovative, coaching, they are very close together, as you can see. And so what does that mean? All those three. And even the affiliative and rate-based setting is not too far off. However, let's look at this. So it means dynamism to begin with, because it's pretty versatile. I can be very versatile. And you've seen at different times doing different things and so on. Flexibility is key to being a leader in uncertain times. And as you know, during the uncertain times, we've created clubs where, and they're doing very well, especially leadership speak, right? We are the top club globally right now. And of course, the club before that, MySpeak, was one of the top clubs as well, back to back. Flexibility, uncertainty, working with those sort of things and so on. I'm a visionary thinker. I am able to vision and take people with me into a vision, and there's always this developmental factor, how to keep developing ourselves as leaders. As you can see, constantly, I'm like urging you all, are you developing yourself? Do you have a growth plan? Who are you? What are you learning? And be a great learner, right? That's development focus. Now, my communication style. What is my communication style? Well, key is direct, and that helps me in what I do as coach and as a trainer and working in large organizations and so on. Direct is always helpful. And with the direct, there's decisiveness. I make decisions quickly, assertively, and expect everyone to follow suit quickly. Competitiveness, not in terms of competing with the members of my club, as you know, competitiveness in terms of who we are together as a team, because I always say, can we be at the top of the world as a team? I always emphasize collaboration. So competitive in terms of how we all come together to compete on the world stage. Because when this club is top, that means it says a lot about each individual member and how they are engaged and how they're becoming competitive with their own previous days work that they've done, getting better each day. And there's independence for me. I'm totally autonomous. I'm self-directed. That's what it means. No prize for guessing that. Completely self-directed, completely taking charge. And that when you do that, of course, I hope I'm exuding confidence so that you're confidently understanding where I'm coming from and you love being in this club. That's confidence, and I'm results oriented. I really don't like structured environments, but in a club, we need to have structured environment so that we understand that when we all people from all different parts of the world come together, that there's a structure to follow. Having said that, now Sandra is waiting for this moment, and here you go, Sandra, creator and pioneer, which was, you should have all guessed that if you didn't know, but I posted it so many times in the group, and I said it so many times as well before. Creator and a pioneer. Now, what's the creator, by the way? So a creator is that makes sense of the world, pulling it apart and seeing a better configuration and creating it, which is what I've been doing with, as soon as the pandemic hit, we created something totally different in my speak and in leadership speak, and they became the top clubs globally. And a pioneer who sees the world as a friendly place where around every corner good things happen. And then you begin to pioneer things that have never been seen and done before. And that's why I love collaboration. I keep emphasizing connect with other members, because I see that every human being can achieve something great. Now, what are the downfalls with all those things, however, is I need to have more patience. I don't know how much patience, but more patience. So that's why you see I've created the mentor groups, but I am not doing anything in it. I'm just waiting for leaders to emerge by themselves. And I'm not saying anything in those groups, except very rarely I might say a comment. I'm exercising patience. We'll see what happens, right? Here you are in the mentor groups. Let's see what emerges out of that. And at times, maybe I might have to step in. I don't know, but I don't want to. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is my leadership style. This is my communication style. And my standout strengths are all here. What does it all mean? Well, let's not go through all that. It's all this stuff that happens. These are all my notes, my own notes for myself. But when you begin to create a profile like this, who are you as a leader? Who are you as a communicator? What are your standout strengths? You really begin to perform at your very best and get even better after that. So, ladies and gentlemen, in short, I'm a dynamic leader, and I love to serve, and I love to transform the world, including everyone here. And I push you all, right, to do that. And that's where I come from. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Sandra, I hope you're satisfied with that. The path of mastery lies in my mastery. Is that because of the strengths that I have, and I know where I'm coming from, that I would like to be a keynote speaker, speak to 30,000 people, be one of the top 10 leadership coaches globally, continued leadership development at all times, and personal development. And I know I'm way over time, ladies and gentlemen, so bear with me as I conclude. What is your super strength? Are you all going to do the test that I've sent out to you? Yes, you should, because then 2024 is going to be incredible. When you know your super strengths, you know who you are, why you do what you do, where do you excel, and what will unleash you? What do you want to achieve in 2024? I think it's timely. Make time for it. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brahm Memone, for this call to action and for delivering your speech today with a little bit of humor. Now, this is the end of the first part of the meeting today. I will ask the Zoom master to please launch the poll for the best speaker. as the time is done? Mr. Zumasa, is the minute as the poll is done yet?
Completed, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. After listening, ladies and gentlemen, after listening, all those wonderful speeches come from our speakers today after this first part of the meeting. Now comes the time to get some feedback in order to improve for the next time. And for that, I will call our general evaluator, Toastmaster Afton Rajan, for the evaluation session. Toastmaster Legendre, the lead is yours now.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Youselee. Greetings to all. I'm Afton Legendre, and I will be your general evaluator this evening. I have a dream team of 8 who have kindly accepted the role of evaluator. I would first like to call Toastmaster Vinod Panikar to the stage to evaluate Mrinal, who gave the toast. Toastmaster Vinod believes to lead with time reminds him to be adaptable in a fast-changing world. Toastmaster Vinod, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Afton. The reason why Dr. Ralph C. Smedley started Toastmaster was he saw his friends and other people were not able to give a proper toast. But if he was here today and he watched Mrinal, he would have been really happy that what he saw today. So Mrinal, first of all, I saw something amazing today, a person who was very happy and giving a toast. Let me quickly jump into what I absolutely liked about your speech and some point of improvement. What I liked about your speech was your happy voice. I felt your girlfriend just said yes to you and you were the most happiest person in this world and you just came and you wanted to tell it to everyone that I am happy. So that voice was very happy throughout the speech and we could feel that energy. There is a law in thermodynamics which says energy transfers from hot to cold and you proved it today. The usage of phrases like dynamic dance with time, captain of the ship, amazing usage of words. Now, some suggestion quickly I would like to give it to you is first is the eye contact. In a 2-minute speech, you can actually use a teleprompter if you are not prepared, because the main idea or the crux of the online meeting is the intimacy between the audience. Everybody gets a front seat in an online meeting. So look at the lens. The second thing I would like is when you said, and the second and the last thing is, when you said cheers at the end, you needed to urge everyone to raise the toast and then say cheers. It felt as if you were having a drink with your friend and you just said cheers and had a drink. So in a toast, we usually tell our friends, or to the audience, let's raise the toast for time. And when everybody raises it, let's give a cheers for the time. So in summary, I felt you are someone who has evolved a lot. You speak very happily. And with these small suggestions, you can really create good memories in the future. Thank you very much. And back to you, Jean.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vinod. A very comprehensive feedback for Toastmaster Mrinal. I have nothing to say. I have those noted, and I will move right along to our next evaluator. Calling on our Toastmaster Claudette, who will be evaluating our Toastmaster of the day, Youselee. Claudette believes that leading on time means prioritizing expectations and managing your time effectively. Over to you, Toastmaster Claudette.
Thank you, Madam GE. Congratulations, Youselee. You excelled at your outstanding work behind the scenes. You set up your group on time. You completed the agenda early, I saw, and you were engaging with us in the group. You posted the theme early so that members who needed it had time to prepare. You posted details of your write-up also early. That was helpful. And yesterday, you reminded us in the group what the agenda was. And I thought that was very helpful. There will probably one change or so, but you got that quickly. And what was also effective was this morning, you gave us a warm welcome for participation. That was well done. Thank you, Youselee. You introduced the role players today very well. And the tools you explained along the way, I think there were a few of them. For example, prioritization. This, I believe, was effective to remind us of the theme. And how you explained the theme also was effective. You provided some relevant information on lead on with time. Your Zoom presence was very clear. Yes, you had a background, virtual background, but that's expected with how you sort of absorbed or get into the picture. So your Zoom presence was effective, and you always had your camera on so you can see who is leading the meeting. You had some good transitions between the speakers. That was helpful. Just a minor area of improvement I noticed. Just consider introducing the speech evaluator for the pathways information at all times for all speakers. That was overlooked on one occasion. In summary, Youselee, you embraced your role early and you kept us updated in the chat. You also were involved. Consider introducing the speech evaluator for all speakers. Overall, Youselee, congratulations on your outstanding job as the Toastmaster of the day. Job well done. Thank you, and back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Claudette. Very effective evaluation. You spoke of the pre-organization, which came with Youselee's role as Toastmaster of the day. You spoke of her Zoom presence, also of how she has evolved and she taking charge in the group. Very good and very encouraging. Just one thing that I noted was that the agenda, not all the speech titles were there. So in future, that's one thing to correct, and we're moving right along. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Claudette. Next, we have Toastmaster, our president, Toastmaster Asif, who will be evaluating our leadership education speaker, Jennifer. Asif considers time management as crucial for effective operations. Over to you, Toastmaster Asif.
Dear leadership speaker, a very good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening from wherever you are, part of the world. I got the message very clear today that time is very, very important and the most costliest asset or commodity. We all got 24 hours in this world, and how effectively we are going to use this time will decide the competitive edge and our health and our success as well. Most importantly, I got to understand that the real problem for not having enough time is that many people, almost 80% of the workers, are distracted by using apps, keeping their apps open on the mobile phone. At the same time, yes, in order to save or to manage time, also there are apps like Forest and Pomodoro. And I got this message also clear that, there are two important good books to read to manage time effectively. One by David Allen and another by Stephen Covey. So it's very important, definitely, to manage time, which I understand is that will ultimately lead to our good health and success and overall well-being. Now, while I got so much of the information, I felt it, Toastmaster Jennifer, that it was scattered. It was not combined in a way that could be easily digestible. That's the way, what is the current problem? What's the solution for it? why is it so important? And then while you are giving the solution, you help by maybe by narrating a story or so. Also important was Toastmaster Jennifer that the use of voice modulation and also about the gestures. I did not find them synchronized with the matter which was being spoken, or the content or the message which was being relayed. Sometimes yes, I did find it, overdone. For example, let's say for example, you want to say some kind of a secret, then you want to whisper it, right? But if it's not a secret, then you don't want to whisper it with this kind of a gesture. Or some of the gestures like, wow, the excitement of it could be avoided depending. So it's very important to build those gestures in line or in synchronize with the content which is being spoken. Now, why I believe that, that would have happened is maybe because you were reading it from some kind of, maybe some kind of a book or some background material you must be having it. That's what my, by the kind of eyes gestures which was, frequently moving. I think that could have been the cause. So making it your speech in a more digestible manner, that is breaking it into respective chunks, would really help you to convey the message more effectively. Overall, wishing you more success in your coming speech. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, President Toastmaster Asif, for that very thorough evaluation. You gave your takeaway, what it is you got from the speech. You spoke about different things that can be improved, the structure. You thought that it was non-synchronized, and you gave the examples to prove it. You didn't speak of her Zoom presence and the type of speech. What type of speech was it to you? Okay, so in future, thank you very much. Just, you can speak about since we're an online club, just speak about her, besides speaking about the gestures, etc., how did she come across, charismatic, etc., or the type of speech? Moving right ahead, thank you very much, Toastmaster Asif. Moving right ahead, I would like to call to the floor our next evaluator, Toastmaster Tony, to evaluate our first speaker, Deborah Walker. Tony is convinced that leading on time represents consistent leadership that demonstrates the same values over a long period of time. Toastmaster Tony, the floor is yours.
Thank you, GE, fellow Toastmasters, and especially you, Deborah. But first, I'll remind the fellow Toastmasters the purpose of your presentation. It was for you to learn about the different communication styles and to define what is your primary style. First off, I would like to say that your collaboration with your interviewer, Rosie, was an excellent example of providing thought leadership to this organization, because I'm still thinking about this presentation. The way it was done extremely well. You asked me to address 4 evaluation questions, and I will explain each one. But in the format of doing so, your interviewer, Rosie, presented you with interview questions that led to defining the purpose of this presentation. First evaluation question: did I explain my primary communication style? Well, the answer is yes. In your response to Rosie's very concise question, which is, what is your primary style? Concise. You said it was the supportive communication style, and you gave reasons for it: being dependable, your timely decisions, not prompt decisions, timely decisions, made at the right time. Then the interviewer's questions led to the next thing is, what about your other communication styles? And you discussed analytical and being direct. And I had the impression you were treating those as secondary. Well, I would argue that. I don't think those are secondary communication styles. I think you've mastered those. It's a matter of when you use the communication style to suit your needs. And I'll make another reference point. When you talked about your style of being initiative, maybe not being so strong, I would argue that. Sure, maybe it didn't work for the example you gave. We all have different lifestyles, but you initiated this format. That is innovative. So your initiative communication style is strong when you choose to use it. So perhaps it's not a matter of which communication style you use, it's when you use them, because I think it's very appropriate that you have used your communication styles in different ways. Now, the bottom line is, do we understand who you are? Have you made it clear to us who Deborah Walker is? And the answer is yes. We understand clearly you are authentic. You know yourself. Well done, Deborah, and thank you for this thought leadership. Back to you, GE.
Thank you very much, Tony, for passionate evaluation. You spoke about the originality of the setup, the interviewing style. You gave examples of the different communication styles, and you actually stated what it is, your takeaway of Deborah's speech, which was to get to know her, and that was actually her call to action. Moving right along, thank you very much, Tony. Moving right along, we have our next evaluator, Toastmaster Nina. She will be evaluating Toastmaster Hannah, and leading on time for Nina is critical. Nina, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam GE Afton. And thank you so much, Hannah, for that speech about your family. I think it touched a chord with all of us. We have realized, yes, online communication is great, but there's nothing like having your children sprawling all over the sofa and demanding foods and snacks at untimely hours and, getting mad at them for all of those things. So yes, online presence versus offline presence. I think you brought that out very well. And the poignancy of planning to get all 5 children together at one place and not succeeding. I think you brought out the emotions very nicely over there. And the fact that it was COVID that made you hone your online skills for both for your leadership in Toastmasters and for your family. I think that was a good aspect that you brought out. And what I really liked is how we could realize that leadership can be in the family also. You can have a vision and for your family as much as you can have for your club or for a district. And how are you making it come about? In terms of the speech itself, a Zoom presence, you always have a great Zoom presence because you've got so much practice and you're the one teaching all of us how to do that. I must appreciate your leadership and helpfulness in this regard as a member of Toastmasters at Leadership Speak. I think in terms of the structure, where it said, introduce yourself to the club, I would have liked a few more details about yourself because we just know you as an outstanding leader of Leadership Speak. But do you have a life outside of Toastmasters? I know none of us do. But if you do, what do you do? And maybe some idea of where your children are scattered and what are they doing would have helped us get a better picture of what your life is like. So overall, great Zoom presence, great connection with the audience, great body language, vocal variety, and the drawing out of a vision that all of us could connect to. So yes, a timely reminder that we need presence, both online and offline, to make our life and everybody else's a more fulfilling one. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nina, especially for taking up this role at the very last minute. You were very effective, I think, in your evaluation. You spoke about Hannah's Zoom presence. You spoke also about the purpose of her speech, which was an icebreaker speech, trying to get more information about her, and you thinking that it lacked in that area. You spoke also about the bringing out of the emotion part. I think that part could have been, you stated that you thought that the emotions were there, but I think that part could have been deepened All in all, a very encouraging evaluation, and thank you very much for taking up this role. Moving right along, our next evaluator is Toastmaster Angela. She will be evaluating Toastmaster Dr. Aswathy. According to Angela, as a self-directed leader, she must hone her skills and model effective time management. Angela, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Aswathy, thank you for your speech. I really enjoyed the panel discussion. I thought you had very good clarity of language, eye contact with the audience. You seemed very comfortable with the audience and having a good Zoom presence and audience awareness. You made insightful comments on the panelists after they made their points. You made clarified some points for us, and that was very well done. I commend you on your choice of panelists. I thought they were very experienced, and that created a very valuable discussion. My only thing I was curious. I had to ask you that when I read the paper, it said that one of the panelists should be outside of Toastmasters. So I was just wondering if you had seen that. So maybe next time we can clearly read the points and the purpose and what you're supposed to do, so that you don't violate any of the rules of the project. Also, work more on your audience engagement. And I thought that your ending could have been better, more like maybe a summary of ethical frameworks and at the end. And other than that, I thought it was a really totally great discussion all in all. You did really well handling the question and answer period. I only suggest that maybe next time, give the audience members a limit. If you have 10 minutes for audience questions, maybe give each audience member 1 to 2 minutes to ask their question and for your answer, so that you can have more audience discussions. Instead of 2, maybe you could have 3 or 4. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Angela. Very comprehensive, very detailed, constructive, analytical evaluation. You spoke about the eye contact, the Zoom presence, the panelist group that you thought meshed together very well. And I think that was very important for an exercise like that. Also, the that one person is supposed to be outside of Toastmaster. I think that's a very good point to have made. You also spoke about the timing, and also I saw that you brought up the part of a summary, which I think was very important after the question and answer part, for the speaker to come in and summarize, and then summarize properly, and then also I would have liked you to speak also about the call to action. What the speaker wanted the audience to take away from that session. All in all, very concise and succinct evaluation. Congratulations, Toastmaster Angela. And we will be moving right along to our next evaluator, Toastmaster Mohammed. He would be evaluating Toastmaster Noorul. And time management, for him, it redefines life's purpose. Maximum gain in minimum time. Toastmaster Mohammed, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. This is my time to evaluate a very technical speech. I think that this was a technical speech delivered by Noorul Munawwara. So what was the speech about? It was about her engineering project work. She was an electrical engineer, and she was having a project of designing an electrical system. And she found some of the discrepancies in her project, and she also found the way to address those discrepancies. And she also talked to her friends and colleagues, and also his bosses. And finally, she redesigned the system in order to improve the efficiency and reduce the discrepancies. So this was all about the speech. The message was very clear that if you redesign a system and redefine a system, understand what is inside and outside of that system, and then you look for a new way to do the things, then definitely there is an improvement and improvement of the efficiency. So you do the things in timely way, and then you find the ways to improve. So let's see the communication style. What I understand that the communication style was like a storytelling style, and in technical aspects, this needs to be a little bit more improvement. Somewhere you could you are using some terminologies of engineering, so you have to emphasize on that terminologies. So the Zoom presence was also later on became very good. While in the beginning we could not see anything on the screen. When she started the speech, there was some slides on the screen, but then disappeared, and someone from the audience informed her that your slide is not visible. Then she came on the screen, and this was really very good speech from her. But I think that this is a case study of engineering project. So I would suggest that it should go in this way, that first she should define in few words what is the issue about. And it should come like on the text on the screen, so that everybody could grab it. Okay, this is the issue that she is going to address it. Either it is the quality, scope, cost, or time that she is going to address in her project. So what she has done to resolve the issues or improve the efficiency, and that should come like she in her story told that she studied it ins and outs of this project, and then she found the way to improve. So what are the studies that she made, just in a bullet point, so that the audience who are not of engineering background could grab it equally as the others. So what she redefined and what was the result? This is very important. What was the result? That result should come, should appear on the screen in few words, that whether she was able to reduce the cost by 20% or improve the efficiency by 20%, by 10%, or completed the project within a time with 10% profit. That should come in the text. That I was expecting from such technical projects. Overall, the project was really very nice, and I heard and I learned many things from her. So I expect that the speaker would take care of these few points in her next project, and can just give us a lot of information from her. So that's it. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mohammed, for your evaluation, for your detailed evaluation. You spoke about the Zoom presence of the speaker. You spoke also about the fact that she used a personal story and you gave your takeaway from the speaker's story also. And I would have liked you to bring in the fact, like congratulate her about her proceeding onwards after the technical glitch with her PowerPoint presentation. And I would just encourage you next time you had a lot of details, very, very detailed, a lot of information concerning her speech. Just like to improve the structure, to give us just 3 points where you thought that she excelled, and 2 points, 1 or 2 points where she can improve, and then afterwards speak with the speaker more in detail. Thank you very much for your contribution. We're moving along to our final evaluator, Toastmaster Mamadou. He will be evaluating Toastmaster Brahm. Mamadou believes that time is a valuable currency and we only have 24 hours each day. Over to you, Toastmaster Mamadou.
Thank you, Madam GE. And we hear most of the time, and it's attributed to Socrates, that know thyself and you will know the universe and the gods. And that's what Toastmaster DTM Brahm showed us, that he knows himself, and knowing oneself is wisdom. And his speech was really engaging. He could show the level of comfort he has in speaking. And he told us, as he knows himself, that he does not like structure, but he has to, because it's required. And we could see in his speech that is really structured, showing us, taking us from one point to the other, so that we can imbibe what he's teaching us. I won't even say speaking, what he was teaching us. And his speech, his gestures were top-notch, which actually helped his speech to enhance his speech to almost perfection. And it's also said that knowing oneself is power. And he demonstrated it, telling us that he's authoritative, that his leadership skills, his leadership style, and his communication style is dynamism. He's direct, he's decisive, and he works on it every day. And he admonished us, I will say, to get better each day, to be completely self-directed and to take charge. What he keeps on telling us since the beginning, since I joined this club at least, to take charge and to bring our best self to the table. And he exuded confidence. What can I say? I was looking for ways to bring some contribution to his speech. So what I will say is maybe add some personal stories, some personal anecdotes to your speech that will take it a notch higher, because your speech is already great. And you also called upon a member to speech, I think, and that member has not responded. If my judgment is correct, that was a daring attempt. It really appreciated. But if you could have that person speak as well, that would add to the interaction you wanted to create. And to conclude this, you said that your speech was timely because we are at the beginning of 2024, and what do we want to achieve during 2024? And it is also embedded, and it's perfectly timely. Why? Because this was the theme of today's meeting. All in all, this was a really great speech, as always, and impactful. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mamadou. What a comprehensive evaluation. You spoke of Speaker's Brahm Zoom presence, the structure. You were very passionate. It showed about his speech, and you gave the takeaway, what it is you got from the speech to take charge, and the power of the speech. You also gave something to improve, the personal story and an anecdote. It's what it is I had in mind also, and a very comprehensive and thorough evaluation. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mamadou. So that is it for the evaluation segment. So our timer, she has put the different times in the chat. And right about now, we can cast our votes for the best evaluator, please. Whilst we're doing that, I would like to call our grammarian, Toastmaster Rosie, to give her report, please. Rosie, over to you.
Sure, thank you. Madam GE, today's word of the day, timely, was used by several individuals, Jennifer, Hannah, Vinod, Brahm, Tony, Mohammed, and Mamadou. So thank you very much for using the word of the day. Some good use of the English language. There were rhyming words, caring, sharing, loving, involving. I thought that was very good. There was alliteration, right thing, right time, right reasons, right people by Tony when discussing ethics. Some sentences which stood out were lend me your ears by Jennifer. With the baby steps, we climbed the steep path to success. I thought that was very good. Smart work is artwork. And then a quote by Dalai Lama, in order to carry positive action, we must develop a positive vision. Nina Jones said, fledging district. That's not a common phrase. I thought that was really well done. Dinesh said, a system that integrates people into society that one can rely on. I thought that was very good. And then just briefly, a few things we could improve on. Talking to the roles, it's actually taking on roles. Take track of time should be keep track of time. Had risen up the bar so high should be had raised the bar. We were drowned by challenges. You get drowned in something, not by. So you can be drowned in debt. I have never heard of challenges, but possibly. Doing her speech, doing her visionary path, it's normally delivering or working on a path or delivering a speech. There was reference to your ethics. I'm not sure that you can say that. You can say your work ethic, your ethical values. I'm not really sure you can say your ethics, but if you can, then I stand corrected. Implement a job. I think you implement tasks, but you execute the roles of your job. And then percentage denotes a fraction or a portion of something that's done. So you don't put a number before it. So it's not 30%, 5%. It's normally 5%, 30%. But all in all, I think our club uses grammar really well, and keep it up. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rosie, for that detailed report. So right now I would like to just give like a little report on and try to respect the time as much as possible. We're already over time.
Yeah.
I would like to thank everybody who filled in a role and give a special thank you to Nina John for taking up the role as evaluator at the very last minute. A gentle reminder, as a club with self-directed leaders, I'd like to remind us all that once we've accepted a specific role, to please take the initiative to complete all the procedures of the role in a timely manner before our meeting and during the meeting, to avoid disturbing the speaker on stage by muting your mics, please. And well, with respect to time, we're a bit late, but yeah, I hope that we improve that as time goes by. And I would like to thank everybody for a great meeting with great evaluations and great speeches. Back to you, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you to you and to your team as well. Now it's time for the thought of the day. I will call Toastmaster Jyoti Thomas for the thought of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Wow, what a timely theme for today. Let me quickly ask you, if we did not have the timer Kareem today being timely, what would have happened to today's meeting? Self-directed leadership. It's not a mystery. It's about taking charge. Last week, taking charge, to this week, lead on with time. It's not waiting for green light, but by being our own beacon. The trouble is we always think we have time. Let's sink in. To be or not to be? That was the question. What would have been if we were not timely? Fellow Toastmasters, back in the day, we always waited for everything to be aligned perfectly. Now we are making moves. Time is ticking. Being present in the time. We brought in beautifully the super strength. It was timely. We brought in speeches, which was appropriate to time, leading on with time. There's a profound shift that's happening towards self-directed leaders. It's no longer controlled just by being hierarchical. That structure is changing. It's very clear. I'm going to echo Jay-Z's words. He said, I am not a businessman. I am businessman. Treat yourself as the CEO. Think about it. Will you lead on with time? Time is the art, said the speaker. I'm going to challenge. Now let us embrace the journey. Lead on with time, and you'll find the more you invest, the more it pays back. Lead on with time. Thank you, and over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas. Now it's time to know for the result of the poll for best speaker. Please, the PR of the day, Toastmaster Aswathy, are you ready to share the certificate?
Yes, Bratschitsch.
Certificate for the best speaker for today's meeting, please. Let's see, nothing.
So I have shared the screen. Can you see?
No. It says screen share started screen sharing, but I can see nothing. I don't know. It's the problem is on my side.
I say double click to enter full screen mode. I don't know.
Yeah.
Will that help?
Yeah, I can't see it either. So
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Congratulations for the best speaker, Toastmaster Deborah. I don't think that she's still in the room.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, and congratulations for the best evaluator, Toastmaster Tony.
thank you. Wow.
The
Thank you.
certificate will be shared on our WhatsApp group. Thank you, Aswathy. Thank you to all of you for coming and for participating at this meeting today on the theme Lead On With Time. It was a great pleasure to lead this meeting today. And as we were on the meeting, we have learned the importance on managing our time properly. And time management is something that we have to do continuously. It's not just today, it's something that we should do every single day, and it should become an habit. In order to continue to manage our time today, I will leave you with some tips that are prioritize your task, use tools and app to help you set smart goals, have some time blocking, delegate delegate tasks when it's possible, and avoid some unnecessary multitasking. Thank you all for coming, and thanks for being part at this meeting. Now my time is over now. See you next week for another wonderful and extraordinary meeting. Back to you, Mr. the President.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Youselee, for conducting this meeting in a timely manner. Well, time is quite so many times emphasized in a Toastmasters meeting, and the reason is that Toastmasters is a platform where we want to hone the skills about communication as well as leadership. And in terms of leadership, it's very important, to deliver so many results that it becomes very important to prioritize the task as well. And that's what we got to learn from today's meeting. So many of tips were shared about how to manage the time. So thanks and congratulations to the best effort speakers and best effort evaluator. Thank you our today's leadership speaker, Toastmaster Jennifer, and on elaborating today's theme and sharing us your valuable information about time management. It's very important also to manage our panel discussions. So many congratulations, Toastmaster Aswathy, for managing a panel discussion as well, and Toastmaster Brahm to share his leadership secrets. Now, in order to now since time is so important, and we have almost crossed we have invested a lot of our time today. It's very important to talk to the guests. If guests are there, we are going to address you very shortly. So please stay online. Thank you everyone for making the meeting a success, and let's meet again next week with another interesting theme. With this, I adjourn the meeting. See you next week.